Welcome everyone to today's session, Forward Focused, and today we're going to be talking about our vehicle inventory suite. I want to thank you for taking the time to join this webinar today. My name is Dan Doolin. I'm a product marketer here at CDK. And joining me today in the Q&A is Kevin Taddeo, a product manager focused on the vehicle inventory suite. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by talking about some dealer research points that we uncovered last year doing some research with approximately 150 dealers within the United States, really focusing on vehicle inventory and what their needs are. We took both a qualitative and a quantitative approach to this research. Now, what that means is we're asking them things about what are the specific jobs that you need to do? How well can you perform those jobs with your current tool set? What are areas where you'd like to see improvement? Really trying to get an understanding of the things that they deal with as they manage their vehicle inventory within the dealership. This is really important to us to give us a foundation for how we can help you address your vehicle inventory needs. And we found that there are a significant number of needs that still exist within the vehicle inventory space that haven't been served up to you in a way that is helpful for the dealerships. So some of those key points are to easily understand the dealership's inventory at a glance. Now, understanding your inventory seems like a pretty basic need, and that's true. But the mechanisms you use to do that and how you do that and how quickly you can do that are very important. So for example, being able to see key metrics about your inventory at a glance, your market day supply, total number of units, what's the total cost of your inventory sitting at the dealership? Being able to see that information very quickly and easily are important to you as you manage your inventory. One of the most important ones, of course, is making highly informed decisions for appraisals and pricing. As you know, at least half of the credit for your profit on a vehicle goes on the appraisal side and half of it goes on the sales side. That's the way I've always looked at it anyway. So making sure that you're buying vehicles at the right price and appraising them correctly when you purchase them and also pricing them correctly is very important. So giving you the tools to be able to do that. And most of you know when you're pricing a vehicle in an appraisal, you've got a pretty good idea of where that vehicle should land on an actual cash value. But helping you confirm your instincts and your experience, but also helping you, well, maybe it should be a couple $100 less on the appraisal or a couple $100 more, or maybe you shouldn't even touch that vehicle. That's going to help you make important decisions that help increase your profitability by a couple $100, for example, on that particular vehicle. So again, very important. Easily know what vehicles to acquire to meet dealerships' objectives. Now that can mean a lot of different things. That can mean what vehicles are selling well within your inventory or have sold well traditionally in your area. That could also mean looking at what the predictive forecast is going to be for the pricing of that vehicle. And we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Understand the exit strategy. Avoid losing money. That's the name of the game, right? That one's pretty obvious. But helping you understand what your strategy should be and when to take action on that strategy based on the current market conditions that, as you know, can change very quickly. And merchandising vehicles in a professional, consistent, and timely manner. What we found in the research is that dealers sometimes struggle with making sure that their listings, when they syndicate out for merchandising, aren't consistent. Some have 5 pictures, some have 35 pictures. Or the description may not be accurate, or it might be different in different places. We're going to talk more about how we can help you with that in just a few minutes as well. And also, having inventory updates reflected in real time across the dealership. So for example, a deal might be pending on a vehicle, but it might still be showing as available somewhere else. And we want to make sure that everything is up to date related to that vehicle, whether it's the status of the vehicle or key information about the vehicle that's recently been updated. We also looked into the cost associated with slow-moving inventory. And what is the impact on your dealership of slow-moving inventory? Obviously, you know that you like to move vehicles as quickly as possible for the maximum profit in that amount of time. And that's no surprise. But there's some interesting aspects of slow-moving inventory and maybe some costs that you haven't thought about. One of which is the merchandising lag cost. So every day that a vehicle is sitting at the dealership still hasn't been merchandised, so it's not quite yet for sale yet, has an average cost of $44 per day, in addition to the normal carrying costs. Opportunity costs of having your dollars tied up in that vehicle when maybe there's another vehicle that you could have bought that could be selling for faster and for more profit. Missed sales opportunities, of course, by not having the right inventory. And of course, the standard inventory carrying costs that you're familiar with. Now, with all that being said, there we go. And doing that research and understanding the needs that you face every day from a vehicle inventory perspective, CDK decided to step in and help. So at NADA, just a few weeks ago, we announced the latest addition to our CDK dealership experience platform. That's our vehicle inventory suite. So within our CDK dealership experience platform, we have the foundations, which are the core of your dealership operations. We have the intelligence suite. We have the modern retail suite. We also have the fixed operations suite. And we've just recently added the vehicle inventory suite. Now, it's important that the vehicle inventory suite is a component of the CDK dealership experience platform at the suite level, because that means it's integrated throughout the entire platform. It's not just an add-on product or a layered application or anything like that. It really becomes a core component of our platform and of your dealership experience. Within that suite, we have many great features and functional areas to help you manage your dealership and vehicle inventory. First, we'll start with the centralized vehicle management, making sure that the vehicle information is accurate and consistent across the dealership, not just off to the side or have multiple vehicle records or anything like that, but have it be a core component to your experience platform. We have a complete mobile app for helping you do quick appraisals on or off the lot. This is also helpful for salespeople as they're out on the lot, helping a potential customer find the right vehicle quickly and enhancing that experience. AI-driven photos and descriptions to help you with the merchandising. Of course, vehicle videos to help you upload and syndicate those videos so that they're available with your listings. Market-driven pricing is very important to help you make sure that you are appraising a vehicle correctly and accurately and to provide maximum profitability, whether you're just taking that vehicle onto the lot, purchasing it at an auction, or you've had that vehicle for a few weeks and you need to update the pricing. You want to make sure that you're doing that based on current market conditions. Of course, merchandising and syndication. Reporting, whether those are static reports, we're starting to use some of our AI-driven reporting tools as well. Market insights and appraisals are helpful when, of course, when you're appraising that vehicle and looking at all the different options, whether it be book values or local listings reflecting vehicles that are very similar to the vehicle that you're listing as well. All of those components, the centralized vehicle management, the data-driven insights, and the AI-powered merchandising and syndication are all unique features to the CDK vehicle inventory suite. They're going to help you better manage your vehicle inventory and as well as be more profitable within the dealership on each vehicle. So how does the vehicle inventory suite help you do just that? We're going to talk about increased vehicle profitability, making confident appraisal and pricing decisions. We've talked about that a little bit. We'll show you more about that. We want to help you accelerate vehicle sales through the consistent and professional merchandising. Help you manage the complete vehicle life cycle. That comes with the centralized vehicle management as well. Just keeping everything in sync and managing that vehicle from the appraisal process until it's sold. Help you manage your inventory strategy, whether that's a pricing rule or helping you understand when to go to wholesale with a particular vehicle or whether to keep it on your lot. Creating a superior experience, not only for you, but also for your customers. When you think about giving them really accurate appraisal information on a trade-in, that's helpful to them, gives them a lot of confidence in the appraisal number that you're giving them, help speed up the transaction if they're trading in on a new vehicle. Also, in a situation where, as I mentioned, the mobile app, when you have somebody that shows up on your lot and your salesperson is able to use either their phone using the mobile app or an iPad or something of that nature, and be able to quickly find a vehicle that meets their expectations, whether looking for a red four-door sedan with 50,000 miles on it for less than $20,000, for example, you're going to be able to help them find that vehicle very quickly versus trumping around a lot for a couple hours looking for something. I always use the analogy of my experiences when I go onto a lot looking for a vehicle and the salesperson pulls out sort of the wadded up piece of paper and they're trying to read it because it's been in their back pocket maybe for a couple of days. And that's not a great experience for the dealer. It's not a great experience for the customer. So using the mobile technology and the quick filtering capabilities and the information that's available on the mobile app is really helpful for both experiences. And of course, streamlining the vehicle inventory management, just the overall process of bringing it in, not having to duplicate entry of a vehicle within your system, and being able to quickly get that vehicle through the system and merchandise quickly. Now let's talk a little bit about exactly how the vehicle inventory suite can help you perform some of these tasks and realize some of these benefits. So first you'll see the profitability analysis. Now realize those words are a little bit small on your screen. They're really small on my screen as well. But being able to enter the actual cash value of the vehicle, so think of an appraisal component here at this time, being able to enter the expected reconditioning costs and other costs that come with bringing in that vehicle, advertising, etc., and being able to predict your profitability based on the pricing you're entered. So you might play with that a little bit, say, well, if I put in this actual cash value, this is how we come out on the vehicle, put in a different number. And so you can do that right there before you make the offer, purchase a vehicle, take it in on trade, whatever the situation might be. This live market vehicle comparisons is really interesting. So you'll see what we call there the scattergram, all the different dots. Those are all vehicles that are exactly like this vehicle that you're appraising, listed within your geographic area. So in this case, in the upper left-hand corner, I know it's hard to see, but the range is 100 miles. So the system will automatically adjust that range based on the number of vehicles that it's finding. And you can play with that as well. So for example, if you're in a large metropolitan area, it might only go out 10 miles. If you're in a rural area, it might go out 100 or 250 miles until it finds enough data to make it interesting, to give you enough for comparison. So all those little dots are vehicles just like this vehicle that you're looking at, and where they land on price, miles, etc. And you can even click on those and see, and well, you can hover to see if it's a good deal, a very good deal, a fair deal for those competitive vehicles. You can also open those up and see the listings, including the VDP, if it's available, and a lot of information about that vehicle. Down below, we have the AI leverage CDK data and market data for past and projected values. Now, this is where it really gets fun. So I'm going to zoom in on that, and we're going to talk about this for just a minute. So as we talked about, when you're appraising a vehicle and when you're pricing a vehicle, and you've had a vehicle in inventory, and this view will stay consistent, will stay with the vehicle no matter if you're appraising it or it's sitting in your inventory and you've had it for a couple of weeks. You'll always have this at your disposal. So you see three lines on the graph here. The blue line at the bottom is the MMR or wholesale value. The black line is what we gather from the listings. Now this is regional, so this is a little bit different view than the scattergram we talked about. And then the green line is something that's unique to CDK based on the amount of data that we have at CDK, which is the most in the industry. We have the ability to pull sold prices, actual sold prices for that particular vehicle. Now, what you'll also notice is that we've got historical, which is pretty easy to get, but we're also predicting the price using AI. So when you think about this, you're appraising a vehicle and you know what that price is going to do, both from a wholesale perspective as well as from an actual sale price perspective. So for example, in this case, it holds pretty steady for a while, but then the sale price will start to drop off, even though the list price or the advertised price goes up. And then you'll also see that the MMR value is going to go down slightly, but then stays fairly steady. So based on that, you can make your appraisal decisions and your pricing decisions for this vehicle. Again, this is unique to CDK and the power of the CDK data and the use of artificial intelligence to help you make those well-informed decisions as it relates to these topics. Now, as we talked about a minute ago, you can also view those specific listing details or exclude outliers from your analysis. So for example, if there's vehicles that you want to exclude, maybe from specific dealerships, maybe they're dealerships within your group, and you want to exclude those from that analysis, you can certainly do that. Now that we've talked about appraisal, let's go ahead and talk about the AI-assisted merchandising and how it helps you drive speed to market, as well as a more professional listing and consistent listings that help attract buyers as they're looking at your vehicles online. So the AI-driven vehicle descriptions is based on the VIN explosion and style settings. Now, a style setting can be anything from, I call it from boring to really exciting. So you can just have a listing that is okay, it just lists all the features, and that's fine. But if you really want to grab the attention of a potential buyer, then it's the matter of really enhancing that description to make it really interesting. And the system will do that for you using the data, again, from the VIN explosion and the vehicle build data, and AI to make it a little bit more exciting, or a lot more exciting, depending on which style setting you choose. I prefer the really exciting one because I think it gets more attention. And it's fun. You can only look at so many vehicle descriptions before they all kind of start to look the same. And so if your buyer is out there looking at multiple listings, you want to really grab their attention. So I always like the more exciting ones. The predefined shot list is really a neat tool that is unique to the vehicle inventory suite. So you can have a predefined list of photos that you would like taken for each vehicle. And you can have different shot lists. So for example, a car with, that's under $5,000, for example, which is really kind of hard to find these days. You might just have a few pictures of it because you're not going to spend a lot of time on it. You just want it out there and get it listed as quickly as possible. You might have another vehicle where you have 25 pictures listed, taken for that particular vehicle. And so the key is to keep them consistent within those categories. So for example, if a buyer is coming onto your site and they're looking to spend $40,000 and they're looking at those vehicles, they're doing the comparisons. They know what they're looking for. And you want to give them consistent comparisons as they're looking from vehicle to vehicle. The shot list will help you set those parameters so that when the photos are taken, they're taken consistently. Now, I always look at that and say, well, that's a nice theory to have them all consistent, but how do you execute on that? And that's where the AI photo management and the mobile app come back into play. So when you send someone out to take pictures of a particular vehicle, let's say that you got this vehicle in on trade, it's clean, it's ready to go, and you want to get the photos up on the site as quickly as possible. You can send somebody out with a device that has a mobile app. They're going to pull up that vehicle in the inventory. They're going to hit the little camera button. It will walk them through the shot list to know what pictures they need to take. So they'll take all 25 pictures. Now, what's even better than that is that as they're taking those pictures, as they're holding up that device and pointing it at the car, it won't let them take the picture until they have the right angle. And it'll have a red frame on their device so they can see the car with the red frame. Then it'll turn green when they've got the right angle and they can take the picture. They'll go on to the next shot in the list. It's fantastic. It's fun to play with it all the time with some little cars here just to walk through it. And it's very neat to be able to do that. And you don't have to worry about it. It's easy for that person. It could be, anybody on the lot that can take those pictures and do them well. In addition, we have obviously the ability to remove the background put in a new background, etc. So being able to do that is really going to give your vehicles that nice touch on the listing as well as a great description. All right. There's a couple things I want to point out here. We'll take a look at the Q&A, but for more information, you can get your mobile device out and you can scan that QR code. That's going to take you to a page on our website where you can learn more about the vehicle inventory suite. And you can also enter some information there. If you'd like more information or like somebody to contact you about it, you can enter your information in the form and somebody will reach out to you. We'll jump over to questions. If I don't get to your question or if you have additional questions, just while I'm thinking about it, I want to mention, feel free to send me an email, dan.doolin@cdk.com, or you can also email Bridget Hall. She's my product marketing teammate on related to vehicle inventory. So bridget.hall@cdk.com. And again, scan that QR code and get some more information on the vehicle inventory suite, as well as being able to submit information into the form if you'd like additional information or contacted by one of our representatives. All right, at this point, we'll take a look at the questions. Question from Kevin. Can a vendor have access to AI photo program for vehicle inventory? They can, as long as you set the permissions for them to do so. Okay. Another question that comes up is, and I'll interject this here real quickly, is the vehicle inventory suite just for CDK dealers or CDK dealers using the dealership experience platform? And the answer to that is it's not. It's available for CDK dealers, of course, but if you're not a dealer using other CDK applications, we do have what we call a universal version of the CDK vehicle inventory suite. So it is available for any dealer within the US. Oh, Asher and I were on the same lines, asked the same question. You do not have to be a CDK DMS client, Asher. So good timing there on the question. Okay. At this point, I don't see any other questions coming through. If you do have additional questions, please feel free to shoot me an email. Be happy to help. Sorry if you were unable to make it to NADA. I know it was a problem for a lot of attendees to try to get there. We hope that this was helpful for you. We did have a lot of great interest in the CDK vehicle inventory suite at NADA, and we're able to show it to a lot of interested dealers. And although it was a fairly light crowd. A question from Elliot. Is the universal version different? It is not. The only difference is that just have to integrate with your DMS platform, which we have those integrations available. Other than that, it functions almost exactly the same way. All right, we'll just give another minute or two for additional questions to see if any came in. All right. I'm not seeing any. So again, I want to thank you for your time. We appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Hope this was helpful. We will have the recording available, so feel free to reach out if you need the recording, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you very much.